Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to show you something.
Lunch.
This is a jar of Jif peanut butter I bought for $7 at Walmart the other day. $7 for a jar of Jif peanut butter. While I was home last weekend, a fella told me he went to the barber, and the barber cost $2 more than when he had gotten his hair cut just 6 weeks earlier. And one of our colleagues, Mr. Speaker, relayed to me that he buys Sudafed every 2 weeks during session, and he paid $9 this week, almost double what he was paying just last session. Why is that? Well, there are a lot of reasons, but most of them can be wrapped around something called inflation. We've talked about it quite a bit in this country the past couple of years. Our money is worth less than it used to be. Too many dollars chasing too few goods. At the end of the day, everything is more expensive. The Wall Street Journal, when referencing the increase in price of groceries, stated, "The last time Americans spent this much of their money on food, George H.W. Bush was in office, Terminator 2 Judgment Day was in the theaters, and CNC Music Factory was rocking the Billboard charts." Virginians are hurting, Mr. Speaker. That's why every member in this body spent some of their time during the campaign talking about making Virginia more affordable for all Virginians. On our side, we introduced legislation that would have finally ended the grocery tax. We introduced legislation that would have made the higher standard deduction permanent, which would have kept more money in Virginia's paychecks. What did the majority party do? Just the opposite, unfortunately. They're trying to raise taxes by $1.6 billion over the governor's introduced budget, add another $182 million in local taxes. They killed legislation that would have removed electric cars, would have removed the electric car mandate, making cars more expensive for us to purchase. Mr. Speaker, here are 6 bills that modify the Landlord-Tenant Act. Here's one: provide more time before a landlord can try to collect rent, or provide more time before they can try to collect rent from people who haven't paid. Here's one that makes it harder to evict people who won't pay at all. All of these bills make it more expensive for people to own rental property, to do business, and that makes it less likely that we have rental properties expansion, driving up the cost of rents. In this body, we passed a major increase in the minimum wage that will close small businesses around the Commonwealth, particularly those in economically disadvantaged areas. We passed a raft of bills to make it easier to require preservation of trees on a development site. That's not helpful. Here's a bill that evaluates the installation of EV chargers if a development reaches a certain density threshold, all making new housing more expensive. Worst of all, Mr. Speaker, is a $1 billion-plus program of paid family and medical leave. I've never seen a bill in all my years in this body with this kind of cost. The paycheck deductions this program would likely make the single largest impact on Virginia paychecks since the imposition of the federal income tax. In conclusion, all Virginians are feeling the pinch of inflation, from groceries to housing to everything beyond. And the legislation that has come out of this chamber has done nothing but set the stage to make it worse. I know the governor will send some amendments down to these bills, and I hope we all will start listening to the hard-pressed Virginia families. Because if we don't, it won't be long, Mr. Speaker, till the jar of peanut butter is $10. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.